The Dallas Cowboys season ended in a way that none of us wanted it to. The 2023 season taught us a few things about this team moving forward. One of the biggest things being where they need to add talent on this roster. And we all know that the Joneses love to build this team through the draft. And this coming April, the Cowboys are picking at number 24. So let's talk about some round one targets that might be available when the Cowboys pick. Let's get into the video. The first thing that we need to decide is, what does this team's needs look like? In order to get a better idea of that, we need to try and decipher what Dallas is going to do in free agency. And there are a couple of guys that you have questions about as we head into the offseason. Is Tyron Smith coming back? To me, that's about a 50-50 shot. He might hang it up, or he might return in 2024. Regardless of what he does, the need that we'll talk about in today's video still matters for now and in the future. Question number 2, is Tyler Biadasz back in 2024? I want to lean towards no. And that's just my opinion. I have no idea what Dallas has planned going forward. But I think you have options in this upcoming draft that are cheaper and maybe even an upgrade at center, especially if they draft a guy that we'll talk about in just a moment. Voch Lombardi brought this up on his show, and I believe it to be true as well. Dallas needs to upgrade at the center position. The last time that this team was really dominant up front, you had an all-pro at center in Travis Frederick. Tyler Biadasz isn't a bad player, but am I going to get into a bidding war with other teams to sign him back? No. So I have just the guy for that at 24. But for now, let's talk about an offensive tackle from Oklahoma, Tyler Guyton, someone that Bucky Brooks had going to the Cowboys at number 24 in his mock draft. At first look, Guyton is an absolute unit, standing at 6'7", 6'8", weighing in at 327 pounds. A massive frame, and for his size, a very athletic guy. In 2023, Guyton played 10 games, had 355 pass blocking snaps, where he allowed 3 quarterback hits, 9 quarterback hurries, and 0 sacks. It depends on what you believe about PFF grades, but they had him rated as a better pass protector than a run blocker. And if you watch the Cowboys play this year, you know they couldn't run the ball very well. They gave Guyton a 25th percentile grade in zone run blocking. So when you look at him and his numbers, Guyton is more of a raw prospect in terms of his size and athletic ability. He needs a little bit of refinement to his game. He definitely isn't the most polished guy on this list in terms of his run or pass blocking ability. But if you like his athletic traits, he'd be a guy to watch for. We've seen the Cowboys bet on upside, but for me personally, I think that the next guy on this list would be a better option. A more polished tackle, Jordan Morgan from Arizona. Someone that Daniel Jeremiah mocked to the Cowboys just a few days ago. In 12 games this past season, Morgan had 787 offensive snaps. 477 of those were pass blocking, where he allowed 2 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, and gave up 13 hurries. With Morgan, though, I think you're getting a more pro-ready type guy. A plug-and-play starter that got better every single year he started in college. Once again, these are PFF grades, so take them for what you want. Morgan was in the 90th percentile in both pass blocking and run blocking grades. What gets you really excited about him as a prospect is that when he played better talent, he played better. He had likely his best game of the season, facing off against a top 10 pick in Latu, the UCLA pass rusher. I would say Morgan won that matchup. As you might have guessed, I like this name a lot, especially at 24, and it's one that'll probably continue to come up as we get through the draft process. But another name I'm interested in is Jackson Powers Johnson, center from Oregon. We talked about Tyler Biadasz and potentially upgrading at the center position. Because he isn't a tackle and it doesn't hold the same value in the draft process, he'll probably be available at number 24. But will he be available when the Cowboys pick in the second round? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. Powers Johnson played center in 2023, but he has a bit of position flexibility, playing 430 snaps at right guard in 2022. If there's one thing that we know about the Cowboys, they love position flexibility. Right now, PFF has him graded as their 56th best player, pretty much graded at a second round pick. But we've seen Dallas draft a center before that maybe had a second round grade. and it turned out pretty well. I think by the time that the draft gets here, he'll be higher on people's boards than number 56. Much like we talked about with Morgan, Powers Johnson, someone that I think is ready to dominate at the next level and take your offensive line to the next level as well. In 2023, he had 497 pass blocking snaps, 0 sacks given up, 0 quarterback hits, and 1 quarterback hurry. He was in the 99th percentile in PFF's run block grades, pass blocking grades, zone grades, true pass sets, you name it, the guy was at the top. We're going to look at all 3 of these guys' tape as we get through the draft process. But Powers Johnson is a very intriguing interior offensive lineman pick. And if you want him, it'll likely take that number 24. I don't see you getting him in round 2. So based on what we learned today, who are you choosing from these 3 guys? Tyler Guyton, Jordan Morgan, or Jackson Powers Johnson? Comment your answers down below in the comments. And thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. More draft content to come, so I'll see you guys next time. I love you all. Bye.